guys, welcome to part 5 of how we met, and now we're gonna be talking about how we actually got married. So after the white wedding, the reception, everything had gone so well. We felt relieved.
I think when the party
perfect.
was happening, we really that was when they finally kind of metaphorically let our hair down. Because I don't have any hair. We kind of let our hair down. It all fell off, all the stress. No, but we ended up, I think because we were enjoying ourselves, we were drinking, it was finally we were relaxed. That was the most relaxed point, I'd say, when we were just drinking and dancing and just enjoying myself.
And watching everyone having a good time.
Because the rest is so formal, it just makes you feel stressed and makes you think about things a bit too much. And so we the next day was the Indian wedding, so that went great.
So we woke up again. It was like an early, you had to get up really early because there's quite a few ceremonies that you do before you actually put your jura on, and there's like a few things that you need to do. So it was like an early rise the next day. I think we got up about 5 o'clock in the morning for me to get ready.
So you got ready, and I was getting ready at the hotel.
And then suddenly there's like a superstition that the wedding needs to be done before midday, before 12 o'clock.
Indian people have that superstition.
So everyone was like, you need to make sure that everything is done before 12 o'clock. So I had like this stress over me to make sure.
You need to be ready so that we could get to the Gurdwara on time, isn't it?
Because I was trying to organise everyone, organise myself, because usually there's family members who will be doing all this stuff. But because
we had to do it ourselves.
So I had to be like, videographer, you need to go over there and stuff like that, as well as trying to get myself ready, as well as take telephone calls of anything that had gone wrong,
as well as take pictures,
as well.
Because then that was the same thing I was doing. I was busy taking pictures, but I wasn't handling anything then. At that point, Primrose was just handling
everything.
With the photographers, the photographers just kind of took charge as well. A little bit, and they were helping us out because. So basically, I got ready and I was taking pictures, and she'd get ready, and one of the videographers or the photographer ended up going to the Gurdwara.
So he
to take some pictures of the Gurdwara.
So he came in the morning, took all the pictures of all the ceremonies that we're doing, and then after that he left, went over to Jazz, took over some pictures from him, and then he said he needed some pictures of the Gurdwara, and so I said okay fine, gave him all the details of that. So off he went over to the Gurdwara. Then suddenly I get a telephone call from him saying, I'm here and I've spoken to the people who run the Gurdwara, and they're saying that there's no wedding today. And I swear,
I didn't know this. I was obviously at the hotel. I didn't know this. And your heart must have dropped that time. What? No.
I was like, what do you mean there's no wedding? Like literally we were almost dressed, and like I said, because we were tight for money and everything, I was thinking we can't arrange this wedding for another day.
And we've already paid these people. The Gurdwara's already been paid.
We paid for everything. For
the catering and everything.
And I'm thinking
I think a couple of family had come from the Midlands.
And the people from Canada.
And the guys from Canada and all that. So I was thinking, wow, that was the whole point of doing the wedding, was to kind of appease these people as well.
Exactly.
And obviously anyone else that chose to turn up, which in the end they didn't turn up, the people that I was hoping would.
So
and I was like, oh no,
So I called Jazz and said the videographer and the photographer at the venue, and they've just been told that there's no wedding today. Apparently the people, they are saying that there was a wedding, but the wedding got cancelled because that's what was in the book. And to actually book a wedding at the Gurdwara, usually sometimes it's a 2-year waiting list. It is so long. So I was really stressed out, thinking okay, but he said there's no other weddings there today. So I said okay fine. So
we got very lucky for a Saturday.
not to have
another wedding day
in September.
We had cancelled when we hadn't.
And
so I think my dad bought the receipt, or who bought the receipt?
So I called you and I said do you know what the receipt is and stuff like that, and you said okay fine, so you then called my dad,
and Dad and me came down and he bought the receipt with him.
So I said we had to go and prove that the wedding had been,
when we're dressed up for our wedding.
had been paid for. Everything had been paid for. We had confirmation. Luckily, we didn't throw that receipt away. We had confirmation on paper to say that it was booked up.
And that either you give us a refund or get on and do this wedding.
Yeah, that was the argument with them. Like, okay, well, if it was cancelled, where is the refund? And they really could not say anything. So they said, fine. So they quickly had called for the people who do the ceremony, didn't they? And like I don't know what they called the people who do the ceremony.
The priests that come and do it.
Yeah.
It's just the priest that does the wedding, yeah.
Yeah, so they quickly had to call the priest and like try and get the whole wedding sorted
organised,
out.
Yeah, it was
like literally.
It was almost like they give half an hour, and they go, half an hour.
Isn't it?
And
it was just so rushed.
We showed up.
Yeah. So like I carried on getting dressed and I was like really stressed out, like, is there going to be a wedding? Are they going to be able to find a priest?
We were at the Gurdwara and you were in the waiting area, innit?
Upstairs, yeah.
And I just had to wait outside in the car for a bit. And then finally they'd sorted it out.
Yeah.
So we went in and we done the wedding.
So we
all sat down. We had about 25 people there at most, 20 people, like my best friends and a couple of other people and my dad and a few relatives.
And I think for you that was the hardest part as well, because
it was so tough, because normally in a Sikh Indian wedding you'd have like 400 to 500 people, and for there to only be like 20 or 30 people was heartbreaking for me. Like each time I went, because you have to walk around the Holy Book about 4 times while they read the hymns, and each time I went round it was breaking my heart. It was the hardest thing I ever did, that Sikh wedding, to just keep walking around and look up and see that, wow, there's only like 20 people, 25 people here.
And most of them are friends.
Most of them are friends.
Yeah.
And it was crushing, like, for me. And, but we got through it, and I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. And it was annoying because, like, the families members who had said, like, this is the reason they were not going to come to the wedding, we had made like the Gurdwara wedding for them as well,
and they never showed
up. So it was like, well, what was the point of saying all that stuff if you had no intentions of showing up anyway? But for us, it's a good thing that we did it.
But we wanted to do it for us anyway. I wanted to do it for us, innit?
Exactly. No one in the future can say like, well, we would have turned up if you did this, or we would have done this if you didn't that. We made sure that all bases were covered, so no one can have an excuse in the future. So yeah, that was the hardest bit.
So once we completed the wedding, all our friends like gave us their love, and the ones that were there, and it was quite intimate. It was very intimate, the whole thing.
Yeah. And it was quite fortunate as well that we didn't have 300 people, because if we did, they would have no food, because the catering wasn't done.
They didn't even provide the food in the end.
They were not expecting, so they never refunded us that money that they took for the food.
So anyway, we done the wedding, the Indian wedding. It was so tough, like I said, walking around, looking around, seeing an empty hall, really.
Yeah.
And then we, once everyone went off, they gave us their like love, and they all went off, all our friends.
Yeah.
And then we went, the photographer said, look, let's just go and do a few more photos.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was thinking, I really can't do any more. Like, emotionally,
yeah.
I was like, you know, like a wet flannel that had been rinsed so many times. Like, I had nothing left in me. My energies were down.
I think after hearing the wedding had been cancelled, that was probably like the last straw.
Yeah.
That was just like,
and really? just walking around doing the in your wedding, seeing that no one was there, that was breaking my heart, man. Yeah. So 2 days of this was just getting too much. And then we went and took the pictures out in Richmond, around Richmond Hill. We took loads of nice pictures there.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was finding it really hard to smile, because I was emotionally...
You were broken inside, didn't you?
Yeah, I was kind of broken inside, and I was finding it really hard to emotionally smile. Then we finally done all the pictures, and we went back to the house, and there's one picture that I remember in particular where I've taken my turban off, and I'm still in my clothes, and Prim's still in our clothes, and we've taken one more picture at the house where he's told me to take one more picture, and Primrose was telling me to take the picture. I don't know what happened, but I think her sister took the picture of us. And I said, I don't want to do it, I can't smile anymore. And we took the picture, and in that picture you can see all the pain in my face.
Yeah.
You can see it. I can see it in my eyes. I look like dead from the strain of all the emotion and just feeling.
Because it had been months.
Yeah, it was a month of it, and I just wanted the chapter to be closed now.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so glad that this is all over with, and I can just get out of these clothes and just put my normal clothes on and just forget about and just start my life. Forget about this whole wedding business and what anyone else thinks, and now just get on with the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And we ended up going to a hotel, isn't it?
Yeah,
that night? We booked a hotel, so we could just get away from the house and be
alone.
Start our sort of first kind of married day alone.
Yeah.
just us two. So we went there and we sat down and we were reading the cards that everyone had given us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then the some beautiful messages.
Yeah, some of the messages, and even in the book, you have that wedding book there.
The one that where everyone writes like little messages, good luck and stuff like that.
And some of the messages were so beautiful. Yeah. Like they were so nice, and I was reading through them and some of the cards.
Yeah.
And I think I got to the one message right at the end in the book, which you had written to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this message was in there. And I read the message, it was really emotional.
Yeah.
And when I read the message, I read a couple of lines. She didn't know I was reading it actually at the time. And because I was reading through the book by myself. And when I got to that message, I was reading, and I think I read like 3 lines of it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't read anymore. I choked up.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she saw, and I go, babe, you wrote this to me, and I go, I can't read it. You have to read it. I go, and then she looked at it, and then she knew I was reading her message.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, like this girl loves me so much.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I went through this.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that I could have given all this up for all that politics.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I couldn't believe the emotion behind that message that she had written.
Yeah.
And it was so emotional I couldn't read it.
Yeah.
I actually dropped a tear and I was choked up and I couldn't read it.
Yeah.
And then I finally finished it. I go, I'm not going to read it out loud. I'm just going to read it to myself because I can't do it. Because if I read it out loud, it's going to break my heart, innit?
Yeah.
So I just sat there and I read it and I closed the book and I said, I love you.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing message, and I remember that. And at that point, that was like, I was like, oh my God, I just want to now close this chapter, put all these cards away, put all this book away, and act like it's all done now. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
This stress, exactly, because it was
much,
exactly.
That was it. I was emotionally broken at that point.
Yeah.
Like I was so happy we were together, but emotionally I was wrecked.
Exactly. I think like finally you'd seen everyone from their
I'd seen everyone's true colours, innit, at that point.
And it was just sometimes like just too disappointing because I think like we always like had that little hope that people think, oh, you know what, this is a special day, let's just go and support. Even if in my heart I'm not really supporting, I'll just support in just be there in present, isn't it? You know. So so that was.
So that was the end of the wedding officially. And I was so glad.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, I've been through we went through so much. Sorry, I shouldn't say I.
No, but you went through a lot.
But emotionally, my heart was ripped up in shreds.
Yeah.
Like it was so hard.
Exactly.
Just the whole process. And as I said, I just wanted to close the chapter now. I didn't want to think about it or look back on it anymore.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just get on with my life without anyone else's involvement now. It's just me and Primrose. That's it.
That's it, exactly. Because we know we can rely on each other.
Yeah, I know how happy we are when we're just together in one room.
There's no stress, there's no nothing, there's no politics, it's just peaceful.
Yeah, happiness, peace.
Yeah.
No one stressing each other out.
No. There's no dramas going on, there's no nothing. And so yeah.
So that was it. That was the beginning of our lives.
So that was really it.
Yeah, that was it for the wedding. That's everything you guys I think wanted to know. I mean, if you have any more questions, you can ask us.
Yeah.
But like I said, toughest time in my life. That was the toughest time ever. But it was all worth it. And anyone going through the same thing, all I can say is definitely you should go through it because once you've done it and you can focus on each other. You can move on and you'll have a great life.
Exactly.
As long as you trust that person and that person is who you want to be with.
Yeah. I think you recover and you realise, you know what, just value what you have.
You do.
And you work harder to make each other happy and to create a happy home. And so so that's it really for the wedding. The next one will be probably the final bit, which will be our honeymoon.
And how we actually enjoyed ourselves.
We don't want to end this on a sad note, so we'll do the honeymoon because we had an amazing honeymoon. Because Giles was like, you know what, I want to make the honeymoon special. Nothing has really been, just about just us two. We want to make a honeymoon
because it was about us. We wanted to spend more and do more.
Exactly.
So that's what we did.
We really wanted to create like a really happy memory that no one else has got no input into. So we'll do one about our honeymoon and where we went, and it was amazing. We loved it.
It was great.
It was, so So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and and subscribe. See you soon.
See ya.
Bye.